Election time has ended once again in Hypixel Skyblock, and we got one of the best fundamental mayors in the game, and that is going to go to Mayor Aatrox, the Slayer Mayor. The reason why this mayor is so good is because he completely promotes Slayers, which are a massive portion of this game. Not only that, but while doing Slayers, you can make a ton of profit by dropping these super good drops like Judgment Core, Warden's Heart, and Overflux, just to name a couple examples. All of these items are worth dozens and dozens of millions of coins, with the Judgment Core and the Warden's Heart being hundreds of millions of coins. Not only do you have a chance to drop some amazing items, but all of the Slayers in this game are really good for leveling up your combat XP, and along with that, when doing Slayers, your weight goes through the roof and you unlock really good items like the JuJu Bow, the Warden's Helmet, the Overflux, which is a couple examples of items you can't use without any Slayer levels at all. This year, Mayor Aatrox only has 2 of his 3 very good perks. This is going to go to Slayer XP buff, which is the first perk he has. This one gives you 25% more total Slayer XP. So this means if you do a Rev tier 5, for example, that gives you 1.5 thousand Rev XP per Slayer, you're gonna then get around 1,800 Slayer XP roughly. I think it's actually a bit more than that. His next perk is gonna be Pathfinder. This one makes it so you can have 20% more chance to get rare drops with Aatrox. This is also extremely good and basically his best perk in the game. Not only does this perk make it so you can get some of the amazing drops like Judgment Core, Warden's Heart, and Overflux 20% faster, but not only that, but it makes it so all the lesser drops like Hamster Wheels, Foul Flesh, and Toxic Arrow Poison, which generally pay back a lot of Slayer quests when you're grinding them, also 20% faster. This is really good because this makes it so ultimately at the end of the day, if you end up selling your Foul Flesh, Hamster Wheels, and Toxic Arrow Poison, you will be saving yourself a lot more money. The third perk, which he usually has, is going to be the perk Slash Prices, which is one of the better perks that Aatrox has that he unfortunately does not have this year. This perk makes it so every single Slayer in the game costs half as much money to start. This means, for example, if you're going to do a Revenant, Tarantula, or Sven tier 4, it would cost you 50,000 coins. Instead, with this perk, it would cost 25,000 coins. It is really unfortunate that Aatrox does not have Slash cost this year, but ultimately when it comes to getting really good drops and the efficiency of how fast you can get your Slayer XP, in my opinion, Slashed Prices is the worst of the 3 Aatrox perks. Obviously, some people are going to disagree, but if you have a lot of money laying around, he does have 2 of his best perks, in my opinion. Before we do get started on this video, if you have seen other videos like this, or you do end up enjoying this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. It helps out the channel a lot. Plus, it's completely free, and you can always unsubscribe later if I do start making trash videos. Like always, if you have any questions for me, want to know what my mod pack is, want to know what my resource pack is, or want to join in on the giveaways we're going to be doing in the official channel Discord server, consider joining. The link will be in the description. But if you're here for the actual video, let's get straight into it. Now, obviously, when Aatrox is out, the one thing that you're really going to want to do is Slayers, but the main question is going to be, which Slayer should I do? Obviously, if you're a very low level in this game and you don't have enough to do every Slayer in the game, you're going to want to level up your Slayer XP as much as you can right now to get yourself to being able to do the high tiers of Revs, Tarantulas, and Svens at the very least. But if you can do the majority of the Slayers in the game, the 4 I recommend are going to be Revenant tier 5. Revenant tier 5s are extremely good. Not only do they give you the most Slayer XP out of any Slayer in the game, being at 1.5 thousand per Slayer, they also drop one of the best Slayer drops in the game, which is going to be the Warden's Heart. The Warden's Heart is going for 208 million coins right now, which is extremely expensive. Revenant tier 5s are a lot of money, and they're pretty difficult to do, but ultimately, if you do grind these during this event and you drop a Warden's Heart, you're going to be without a doubt getting a ton of profit. It's definitely worth it to do it, and with the 20% buff, you have a much better chance to drop it as well. The next Slayer I'm going to recommend is going to be Sven Slayer 4. Sven Slayer 4s are significantly easier to do than Rev Slayer 5s, and overall, they're a very solid Slayer. The really good thing about doing Sven Slayers is that you have a chance to drop an Overflux Capacitor. These are ridiculously high right now, being around 60 million coins per 1 capacitor. This is super high, and this is because people use Overfluxes to do the Enderman Slayer with the 20% buff. Like I said, this is going to be extremely good. This is way easier to do than the Rev 5 Slayers. The next Slayer not many of you are going to be able to do, including myself, is going to be Void Gloom tier 4s. If you do Void Gloom tier 4s and you're a high enough Enderman Slayer, you can drop a Judgment Core. I don't even need to elaborate on why this is extremely good, because Judgment Cores are going for 500 million coins right now. Obviously, not many people can do Enderman Slayer tier 4s, and I think you need to be Enderman Slayer 7 as well to even be able to drop these things. But if you can drop one of these, this is the best time to do it. Not only are you going to have a much faster time getting yourself to Enderman Slayer 7, but you have a 20% better chance to drop a Judgment Core. These things are so expensive, doesn't matter how much time you spend doing these, you're almost always going to make profit on a Judgment Core. And the last Slayer I recommend, and this is for a different reason than the other ones, is going to be Tarantula Broodfather 4s. Now, it seems like basically at this point I've talked about every Slayer, but Tarantula 4s are different and they're quite unique. Not only can you do Tarantulas very quick because they're weak, but they drop something called Toxic Arrow Poison. Toxic Arrow Poison is really great, and it's one of the easier drops to get, I think only being a rare chance for them to drop, which means you easily get it every couple of bosses. With the 20% extra boost, this means you're going to be dropping Toxic Arrow Poison a lot. And Toxic Arrow Poisons sells back to NPC for, I'm pretty sure, around 125,000 coins per drop, meaning that even without Slayer prices, most of the time when doing Tarantula Slayer 4s, you're actually going to be breaking completely even. It's basically free Slayer XP when doing Tarantulas, which is super OP. Though, keep in mind, Tarantula Slayers don't really have many good valuable drops, so unfortunately you don't really have a good chance to make a ton of money. And another thing I highly recommend taking advantage of with this Mayor is going to be getting the requirements for a JuJu Bow. A couple weeks ago, the JuJu worked in a way that if it was a dungeonized item and used in dungeons, that you wouldn't actually need to have the Enderman Slayer requirement to use it, which is Enderman Slayer 3. This made it so a ton of people would buy JuJu Bows for a very cheap cost and then use them in dungeons, and they were honestly very, very good. They are still very, very good. The issue is now that the requirements are set in stone, and now you need to hit Enderman Slayer 3. Enderman Slayers are ridiculously hard to do. I myself have decent gear and can only really do Enderman Slayer 1s. The really great part about this though is that Enderman Slayer 1s are going to be giving you 25% more XP. If any of you are reconsidering using the JuJu Bow in dungeons, I recommend taking the time now to go level up your Enderman Slayer XP if you can do Enderman tier 1s. It'll take you a quarter less bosses and overall save you a significant amount of time. Also, it won't cost a whole lot of money, so if you just dedicate an hour or two to it, you'll be able to use the JuJu Bow in no time. And the last thing that you need to take advantage of with this Mayor is going to be the flips that happen during this Mayor. Since a good portion of the players on Skyblock are now going to be doing Slayers, all of the different Slayer drops in the game are going to be dropping in prices massively. The supply for these items is going to way outweigh the demand for them, which means big items like Warden's helmets, Axe of the Shredded, and maybe even Terminator bows are going to end up going down in price. Not only that, but things on the bazaar like Revenant Viscera and other items are going to hit a massive low right now, with a lot of people selling those items on bazaar. If you want to invest in any of these items, they would probably end up going down by the end of this week, and not only can you get yourself some really good gear for very cheap in price, but you can also do massive flips, like for example with Revenant Viscera. Revenant Viscera is likely to go very down in price because it sells on bazaar, and a lot of people are going to sell instantly on all of it. By buying a lot of items like this, you can then flip it back when the Mayor has been gone for a while. Just keep an open mind with these flips, because with Mayors there's usually a lot of flips that you can do, and Aatrox is almost one of the best flipping Mayors in the game. Overall, Aatrox is a very simple Mayor, but I do bid you guys take massive advantage of him. He is one of the most fundamental Mayors in the game, and trust me, if you spend some time and dedication, you can make millions of coins of profit while doing Slayer bosses with Aatrox around. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did end up enjoying this video, like always, consider leaving a like and subscribing. It helps out the channel so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.